It's more about educating the people that aren't in the know or need to be educated. And it's doing it, through love and compassion and understanding instead of through hate and saying you have to accept this. I think if we explain to people what's going on, I think they'll be more open to it.
It's not just about football. You think about all the females that are going into refereeing now, physiotherapy, and they might think, I'm not a great footballer, but I can see a female doing that job, the visible. Now I can dare to dream and think, oh, well, maybe I could do that when I'm older. So sometimes being visible is so important.
When I was 13 years old, and I was like, and boxing wasn't an Olympic sport for women, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be in the Olympics one day, and I'm gonna win a gold medal like my hero Muhammad Ali. And they must have thought like, okay, you're only young. It's like she'll grow out of that, kind of thing. But I was so sure and so determined that I was going to do that.
If I came from 4 of the most deprived areas in Leeds and then went on not just to be successful in one sport, then to be the England captain rugby union, a sport I knew nothing about, how many more kids potentially could there be that could have gone on and done the same thing?
If organisations are open, honest and fair about diversity, actually it can be a plus for their organisation. It can actually be an asset to their organisation.
Disability in sport is super, super important. Sport can bring a lot of people together. It can also show disabled people what is possible, and having the opportunity to get involved in any type of sport is, I think, a key opportunity for everybody to have.
Diversity, equity and inclusion is of the utmost importance, but it has to be done in a very different way. It's no longer something that can be managed from a HR department, or you can just amend policies. It really has to be the culture of any organisation for it to succeed.
A person is not disabled by their disability. So it's not my polio, it's not my wheelchair that makes me disabled. It's by the obstacles that society puts in front of us.
What we are witnessing is a serious attack on history, on the academic freedom of historians and on the capacity of organisations in the heritage sector and elsewhere to deliver public history and to freely explore and to freely expand the breadth of the histories and the narratives that they present.
Knowledge shared is power multiplied, so I really believe that, working together, we can achieve so much more. And that is what I also agree is missing. I think we can be, a huge kind of force together, working collaboratively, and I think that is the future of kind of entrepreneurship and in this ever-changing landscape.
When the pressure's on, it's easy to run. But actually for me, and in most athletes' minds, failure, loss is learning. You learn by your mistakes.
I think what I'm trying to put back into business is just fairness, kindness, collaboration, and values that historically have not been recognised within business as the ones that make you get to the top.
How come when people have mental damage, it's always an act of imagination? How come every other organ in your body can get sick and you get sympathy except the brain?
And it's important that women and men and non-binary people who are not cis or who are not heterosexual or don't fit into a particular box, those people are also recognised and appreciated and valued for who they are.
You've got to find your passion in life. You've got to know what you love to do, because when you find that, the success comes just that little bit easier, and the tough days and the disappointments, they're just that little bit easier to cope with when you're doing something you love.
I did something for the first time that day, which I've done every single game I referee since, from the World Cup final to the local under-13s kids game. Every single game I referee now, when I walk out onto that pitch, as I cross the white of the touchline, I said to myself, don't f*** it up.
What we've learned over decades is that telling grown-ups what to do doesn't work. You have to create the space where they can talk to each other, reflect, think, find its personal relevance, and then find the deeds.
I never saw anyone like me in a career that I was interested in. I wanted to be a fighter pilot actually when I was very young, but whether it's fighter pilot, racing driver, when you can't see you can't see anyone that looks like you, you just feel like, how am I ever going to make it? And
I was quite good in the world of boxing, and the more I got successful, the harder it became to face reality. Do I regret not being able to transition early? Part of me, yes. Part of me regrets not being born in the right body, and I wouldn't have had to go through all these problems. But then I think to myself, if I didn't live my life as Frank Maloney, before I finally came to terms with myself as Kellie, I would not have the love and support of my daughters and family.